Monaghans Galway, located on the Tuam Road, is the leading dealership in Galway for new SKODA, CUPRA and Seat models. Now is the perfect time to order your new car or visit Monaghans.ie. You're very welcome along to the Maroon and White Pod. It's a very special weekend for Galway ladies football with two clubs in All-Ireland final action. Annaghdown at 3 o'clock on Saturday bid to win the intermediate title for the second time. The first time was obviously in 2016, and Kilkerrin Clonberne look to create more history by becoming one of the greatest lady football club teams on Saturday against Croke at 5 o'clock. I'm joined by Darren Kelly of Galway Bay FM to look ahead to the action. Darren, just firstly, it's a really special weekend for Galway ladies football coming up.
A special weekend, Paul, for both ladies football and camogie. I know you'll probably be doing another show on the camogie, but as you mentioned there with ladies football, two clubs, two Galway clubs with great stories to tell, and anything is possible come Saturday in Croke Park. You touched on Kilkerrin Clonberne there a moment ago. Like, they're going for four in a row. No different to yourself, Paul. I've watched this team grow up over the last couple of years and see them knocking on the door and the heartache against Monaghans and all that. And then they finally go over the line in January 2022 against Monaghans. They've gone on this amazing run of 42 or 43 games unbeaten. They've picked up Connacht titles, county titles, the All Ireland as well. But I think we'll all safely agree this is the biggest challenge that they have faced during this golden run in Croke's. Last year, it took extra time to separate these two teams. Kilkerrin Clonberne's experience probably telling in the end with the late points from Maeve Flanagan and from Olivia Divley. They'll relish the champions. If Kilkerrin Clonberne win on Saturday, and this is a 50-50 game, Paul, then I think they'll have cemented their legacy if they haven't done it already. For Annaghdown, look, we remember 8 years ago in the great run, right? Paul, you remember 8 years ago in the great run that they had as well. They didn't get to play in Croke Park that time. It was a great day in Parnell Park. I had the honour of commentating on the game. They're now back in an All Ireland final. They're in Croke Park for the first time, but also as well, they're chasing their own bit of history as well, Paul, because no team has ever won the All Ireland Intermediate Ladies Football Club Championship twice. I think Annaghdown are just the third team to actually make two finals. If Annaghdown win on Saturday, and I'd give them a good chance against Billy Ryland, then they would create their own bit of history.
Just on it, Darren, because I don't think it's probably been highlighted enough, maybe, but 2024, it's been some year for Galway football when you consider it, even when you think of the ladies football team. I know they came up short, but still getting to the All Ireland final. Not many people expected it against Kerry, and now to have two club teams in an intermediate and senior final, it has been a pretty good year when you think of that.
Yeah, well, the most important thing, and I think we're all guilty of it at times in analysing, is you have to look at the story. Like at the start of the year, a new Galway manager came in. There was a lot of absentees, like the current Clonberne players weren't back yet. A few other players decided that was it. Some were gone travelling. So they were dealing with a very, very small deck. And yet, even though they got relegated from the league, they never lost. I think one game they lost by 5 points, another by 4. Every other game was a kick of the ball, and they had a very, very impressive victory against Meath in it. So, look, the relegation is not the end of the world. We've seen in the men's format there, the last two All Ireland champions have come from Division 2 in regards to Dublin and Armagh. So, if anything next year for a lot of these young Galway players, will be a chance to build up confidence with some wins. You would hope, of course, if we have a disastrous Division 2, then maybe we'll be thinking differently. But then to go to the championship as well, to win the Connacht title in Kiltoom, a great performance from Galway that day. They were disappointing down in Cork at the group stages. They did the job they had to do against Laois, I think it was. And then we've been talking about the men's footballers win over Dublin, but sure, the women did exactly the same thing the following week, and they went to extra time to do it. But it was a momentous day. They got a revenge against Cork in the All Ireland semi final. Look, on the day, it was just Kerry's time. As I said at the homecoming the following day, it was just Kerry's time. But if you took the amount of changes in that Galway team and where you'd imagine they would have been at the start of the year, you would have snapped the semi final off. You would have accepted the quarter final to be in an All Ireland final. It was a great first innings. At the end of the day, we have to build it now. But then, as you mentioned, there are two clubs going all the way to All Ireland finals in Croke Park, and to finish off the year 11 days before Christmas with a chance of doing an All Ireland double. It will cement a great year for ladies football. A lot of progress made. Of course, let's not forget the under 14s as well that won an All Ireland title too.
And even more special because I know, even from coming from Annaghdown myself, the buzz that's around a minute, and particularly when it comes to an Annaghdown side of things, there's been obviously no one from Annaghdown who's got to see Annaghdown and Croke Park, and maybe it might never happen again. But that's what the real excitement is when it comes to Annaghdown this weekend.
Paul, I'm glad you mentioned that as well, because I'm not an Annaghdown person. I'm a Galway person, but I have still goose pimples on my arms when I think back to that final against Shane O'Neill's back in 2016. The atmosphere that the Annaghdown supporters created on that occasion was just unreal. And this was in Parnell Park, granted smaller ground. They're going to bring that to Croke Park as well. Like, the one great thing we have this weekend, with all four Galway teams going to Croke Park, they're going to be very, very well supported. But I can well imagine, and I recently there had a chance to talk to Rachel King, who was, your goal scorer supreme back in 2016 as well, and the excitement in her voice, talking to Niamh Duggan as well, to any of the squad as well, to supporters. Look, that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, the jobs we get to do, Paul, we can follow Galway more often than not. We might follow other counties on occasion, but it all comes back down to club. Myself there, I've seen Ballinasloe make some inroads in hurling in the last couple of years. But as you mentioned there, Annaghdown, I think it's always important that we never forget where we come from as well. We have to have that excitement. We tell a better story when we're doing our job, when we acknowledge, we are from somewhere, we have a home as well. We want to see our club doing well. And that's exactly what with Annaghdown. Like, I could say the same about Kilkerrin, Clonberne as well in regards to support, the excitement. But I can only imagine in Annaghdown. And when you look there, at the end of the day, they would have started the year, win the intermediate, that was the target. Get up to senior, that was the target. Great performance against Duke Gerard. Then you go on the Connacht journey and you don't know what way it's going to go. Three close games, two late goals, a trip to Scotland, a home All-Ireland semi-final against Craig. And I've said it on other platforms too. They wrote the blueprint of how to host an All-Ireland semi-final in a club ground. What they did in Craig that day, between the park and rides, the support, the atmosphere, everything that was set up that day. Look, at the end of the day, though, this team will only be remembered if they finish the job. And look, they're going to have a tough opposition with Billy Kerrington Ryland on Saturday, but they're there. That's the most important thing, first and foremost. And no doubt, the maroon and white flags, there won't be any left in the parish, Paul, I can imagine, by the time 3 o'clock comes around on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. And even with like heartbreakingly, the 2 years previous losing the two intermediate finals the way they did, there was a lot of heartbreak. But it shows the resilience of this group, that they came back, and since they got out of the intermediate final in Galway, it's even been referenced that it was like a release valve, and they've just gradually built and built, and they've brought huge joy to the community over the last few weeks. And people from Annaghdown have probably just been starved for success like this, and to be playing, as you say, 11 days out for Christmas, it's special. But Darren, since that county final, it has been impressive the way and the manner in which Annaghdown have performed.
Yeah, because look, at the end of the day, and you just said it there, win the county championship. That's what every club is thinking about. Every intermediate and junior club, definitely. Some senior clubs might admit they're looking further down the line, but of course, at the end of the day, you don't win your county championship. You don't get to go on these journeys, create these stories, and create memories. They're going to last a lifetime as well. And even they're looking, as mentioned, Uach Gerard that day, they scored 5 goals. Brona Quinn, what a year she's having, a hat trick. I think 6 goals in the last 6 games that she has gotten. But Connacht was no gimme. Connacht was a very, very tough campaign. St. Francis, I think, was only 2 points between them in the quarter-final that day. They needed the late goal against St. Kieran, the late goal to brush off Drumcliff Ross's point as well. But again, they showed that resilience. You can't beat experience this time of the year, and not many teams will have the opportunity to have experience of dealing with this. But Annaghdown do, based on what they achieved in 2016. Like, when you look at the half back line there, Paul, Chelsea and Chloe Crowe and Brona Quinn, you'll do well to find a club half back line as strong, as experienced, and as good in any grade, which going to take place this weekend or even in recent weeks as well. They will provide the platform for Annaghdown to launch the attack there up the field. If Ciara Hegarty and Ciara McCarthy on their day can do damage in the scoreboard as well. But there's so many more workers. I don't like to start to name a few players and leaving others out. I think I counted 8 of this team were involved in 2016 in some capacity. And their experience is very, very important, especially for the younger players, because there's been a lot going on. The Connacht Championship games are coming week by week. Did a bit of a breather, and you're over to Scotland, and all that had to be organised. And I think the first week they didn't even know if they're going to Liverpool or going to Edinburgh. That
Mm.
was well done to the committee as well. That the Trojan work behind the scenes to make all that happen as well. And then you come back from Scotland on the Saturday night to know you have an All Ireland semi final against an O'Donovan Rossa team from Cork that have been flying it. 22 out of 23 championship wins. They were All Ireland junior champions last year. But these Annaghdown players stepped up every single time. They got the job done, and they're in this position. There's no doubt they'd be probably favourites for the majority of the games, Paul. I know they won't like me saying that. They were probably underdogs for the semi final, even though they were at home. They will go into this game as favourites against Bennykerry Ryland, solely based on the fact that imagine they're a Galway team and this is a Carlow team. But when we talk about Bennykerry Ryland in the moment, we're going to pick out names that might be known to football supporters in Galway because they're a very, very strong team. But look, Annaghdown have answered every question going forward. They're in Croke Park there now. But again, just to repeat myself, it's about getting the job done.
One player in particular that's been excellent for Annaghdown, Darren, throughout the campaign, Isabel Claffey. It was her first year in this year with the Galway ladies, and you can tell that experience has really stood to her by her performances on the pitch.
Oh, well, certainly as well. And of course, I was saying you could mention so many more as well, but she's holding down a very, very important position in full back too. So it shows the confidence that Martin O'Neill and the management team from Annaghdown have for her. I know the defence can be mobile at times, but it's a big role to give her there as well. And she stepped up in every occasion. She provides that rock, that support for the goalkeeper Eleanor Lynch as well. And also, of course, the confidence she'll gain from playing behind the likes of Chloe Crowe as well is very, very important. Like, when you look there, what she's going to be facing, she'll be well able for the challenge anyway, whichever player from Bennykerry Ryland goes up against her on Sunday. But look, at the end of the day, you don't put people in full back if you don't have confidence in them. And Isabel Claffey has stepped up. She has started all the last 6 games. I don't have the team sheets from the earlier stages of the Galway Championship, but she started all 6 games and she earned her spot at number 3.
Benny Tinnerland from Carlow, Darren. What people from Galway mightn't be familiar, these are obviously Carlow senior champions, but the Carlow senior champions go into the intermediate grade. So it does show the strength that Annaghdown are going to be facing a team that have won the senior championship in their county.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, I'd be in favour of that kind of format for counties that are junior or intermediate, and Carlow are a junior team, and that's why I said on paper for the naked eye as such, Annaghdown will go in as favourites, but this by no means a gimme and under stretch of the imagination. First, let's look at their form. Like they regained the Carlow title against O'Loughlin there, 12 points to 1-6 in the county final. But then the scores they are putting up there, 2-16 against Carlow Emmets, 6-12 against Corastown, Kennygad, the Westmeath representatives. I think St. Patrick's from Loud pushed them closest, 10 points to 1-5. D Rangers, I think their Meath team, they beat them in the Leinster final, 3-11 to 12 points. The first time that a Carlow women's team has won a Leinster championship as well. Indeed, this is the first time that the Carlow women's team are playing in an All-Ireland final in Croke Park. Mullahoran from Cavan, they got the goals that mattered in the day. They won that 4-6 to 112. They are here on form, and we've seen many examples, Paul, in recent times of teams coming to Croke Park and just taking naturally to it. The key name is Clean Shea. That's a name that some Galway football supporters will have heard of. I'm sure you've definitely heard of her. She was the Golden Boot overall ladies football winner in 2021. She's one of the most dangerous forwards in the country. I think it's 223 she has scored in their last 6 championship games. So a lot of them have been frees this year. There's other strong players in this Bennykerry Ryland team that are well capable of doing damage that we look at the moment, but she is the key that makes it all work. She normally plays at centre forward, so that should be a very fascinating duel with Chloe Crowe if that's the way it works out. But if Annaghdown can keep her quiet, there's still other battles that have to be won. Then they're halfway there. But just to repeat again, and like Sinead Hayden, Lauren Dwyer, Elaine Ware, who's actually a cousin of the Connacht rugby player Keane Prendergast, they're all big scorers as well. This team is well capable of scoring. If they get a run very early in this game, then it'll be a tough afternoon for Annaghdown.
With that as well, if you're looking on from the outside, maybe at the semi-finals when Annaghdown played O'Donovan Ross, a couple of people you're hearing were fancying Mullahoran in that semi-final, particularly when you've got someone like Aisling Sheridan on that team. But it just shows the strength of Benny Tinnerland that they got over that one.
Oh yeah, like look, as I said, they got the goals as well. Mullahoran still put in a good, impressive 112 scoreline, but it goes to show, and again, at this grade, you can never take anything for granted. And that's why I was saying there too. People will make predictions based on probably where teams are from, and they don't have experience in this situation, which deservedly gives them that nod. But going into the semi-finals, Paul, I think everybody was picking a Mullahoran against O'Donovan Ross final. I mean, O'Donovan Ross looked unbeatable, what you call it. They had one or two Cork County players in the team, but it goes to show you perform on the day, and that's exactly what it's going to be here too. And as we talk about Bennykerry Ryland, I'm just again looking at some of the names there. Lauren Dwyer there as well, a very, very strong player for her. I mentioned Elaine Ware and her connections too. Sinead Hayden is a corner forward. She got 2 goals in that semi-final against Mullahoran. So like their attack first is very, very strong. You throw in Elaine Ware and Liz Lowry in the middle of the field as well, and there'll be some duels there too. And looking at the scores conceded, which is this time of the year based on what the way the weather will be, though Croke Park is a different surface. Like, they haven't been conceding much. Like 112, they conceded against Horn was the highest I think they've conceded all year. So it's not as though this is going to be a high scoring thriller if Annaghdown choose to play that with Billy Kerrington Ryland. This Carlow team are well capable of tightening it up as well. And again, that's what will come down to the individual matchups. Can you close out their forwards, and can our forwards get the job done?
For this intermediate final, Darren, how do you see it going?
I think Annaghdown will win. I think they have the experience there. They have the right attitude, the way they've been conducting themselves, the way they have been performing. They've dealt with so many hurdles as well. Like it was mentioned, they've shown that resilience with the 2 late goals to win their last 2 games in Connacht, dealing with the trip to Scotland, coming back there and putting in a performance in front of their own supporters and O'Donovan Ross. And it's, look, if they're completely focused, which I've no doubt they will be going into that game, they've experience on the line, they've experience on the field of play. They're good enough, but they need to get scores early. Like they can't be sitting with to settle into a game. You need to get on top of this early, which Annaghdown have been very, very good at, in fairness, over the course of their campaign. If anyone's going to be, well, both teams will be nervous because there's lots of players playing Croke Park for the first time on both sides. But if any team is going to be a bit more nervous, you'd imagine it would be Billy Kerrington Ryland. Now, they do have a lot of Carlow footballers. Carlow won a Division 4 league earlier in the year. But if Annaghdown can get their footing in the game early, get on top of the scoreboard, make Billy Kerrington Ryland come after them, I do feel they'll have enough in the tank. And it's one of, with 4 teams between the 2 codes playing All Ireland finals this weekend, it's one I'm very, very confident on, providing, of course, that they get on top of it early. They can't allow Billy Kerrington Ryland to get an advantage. Croke Park's a very lonely place when you're running after a game.
On the second semi-final then, Darren, Kilkerrin, Clonberne, Kilmacud, Crokes, 5 o'clock on Saturday evening in Croke Park. Before I get into this one, do have a question for you. Are Kilkerrin, Clonberne the best ladies club football team you've ever seen?
I've ever seen, yes. Are they the best overall? No. And I'd say very, very simply, but you have to respect records and what teams have done at the time. McCaffrey from Waterford dominated the game back in the 90s. The stats are in their favour. But Kilkerrin, Clonberne are in the conversation. Yes, they are the best I've seen over the decade I've been following them. And as I said earlier on to you, if they win this game, because this is a 50-50 match, then they definitely deserve to be in that conversation. They have set a standard for club ladies football that probably has never been seen, in fairness, but you can only judge teams on contemporary times at the end of the day. They are forcing other teams to step up to them. I will admit, Paul, I've been disappointed that nobody in Galway has challenged them. Whether beating them or not is one thing, but challenged them in recent years. At least Westport asked a few questions of them at the Connacht final. Clonberne, maybe we're reading too much into the second half performance. We will see, because Kilkerrin, Clonberne had the job done, but they have put the question out to other teams. You have to come meet us. You have to reach our level. They have raised the standard. So yes, from my time reporting, from what I've seen in the flesh, well, I was shadow without Kilkerrin, Clonberne are, but there's still some way to go before. And you have to respect what Waterford's McCaffrey did under Michael Ryan back in the day. There's still a few more Irelands to get there, but of course, they want to win this one first.
From your own perspective, though, it must be a privilege to cover this Kilkerrin, Clonberne team, because even the way they play football, it's just a joy to watch. Even I think back last year to the All Ireland final, like they were a joy to watch, and this team is a joy to watch when they do get to Croke Park.
Oh, this team does teams you want to see Galway football teams doing. They dictate the tempo of the match. They get their noses in front. Then they control the narrative afterwards, and they get the job done. And they make no apologies for it, because they've had to come up over the years. I remember watching them. I think it was 2015 in All Ireland semi-final down in Mourneabbey, where they pretty much kicked the game away with some silly wides. They were very, very young at the time, barred a few of the experienced heads. That I was delighted finally got their All Ireland medal back in with the 2021 All Ireland back in 2022. But they've raised the bar. Like, again, Paul, even like as I mentioned with Annaghdown about attitude and all that, the way this Kilkerrin, Clonberne team um, operate from top to bottom, the way they look after the club. I was only having a conversation with Niamh Divley the other day. We're talking about Louise Ward training the under 12s, and the senior players go in, get involved in training sessions as well. They go out there, they know this is their time. They know this is not going to last forever. There's some great individual players there that we've talked about many times, whether it's regarding Galway or it's regarding the club, the likes of Nicola and Louise Ward, the likes of Olivia Divley. I could name a few more. But this team in general, like when you take this team, lost two big defenders in Claire Dunleavy and Lisa Gannon over the last year, and have been able to adapt, change a few positions, get themselves back and going, and normal service is resumed as well. They're absolutely accredited in the way they just conduct themselves from top to finish. It's always a pleasure to watch them play. It's always a pleasure to go out to Clonberne to meet them any day. There's a media day, or they're playing a match there as well. But likewise, as I said, they're forcing the team to step up to them, and that's what Kilmacud Croke you'll feel will try and do on Sunday or Saturday. Sorry.
Isn't that the thing though? You talked there about two players they've lost. They've moved Niamh Divley back to wing back, and we've seen her blossom this year. We've seen Aisling Madden come into the team. It's just so seamlessly how they've worked that this year.
Yeah, two All Ireland winners in minor winners in 2023 as well. Niamh Divley, just a maturity beyond her years at the moment. She's been involved in all three, All Ireland wins for Kilkerrin Clonberne. This will be her fourth All Ireland final. She didn't start the first two, broke into the team last year more as a roving quarter forward. She broke into the Galway senior team this year more as a roving winger. And she did tell me herself she has played in defence back in the day, even when she was coming off the bench as well. Hannah Noon dropping back there to form a very, very strong half back line with Nicola Ward in the middle, Caitlin Mee making the drop back to the full back line. But Aisling Madden, I'm glad you mentioned her as well, because she's been the breakthrough star for Kilkerrin Clonberne this year. And even watching her goal in the semi-final against Clonberne, after Nicola Ward did the work to set her up, to put her through, she never panicked and all that, picked her spot, slotted it nicely into the corner. It was a very, very important goal because it put Kilkerrin Clonberne on the front. Whether she plays a midfield or whether she plays a centre forward, she kind of more or less rotates with Louise Ward. Siobhan Divley being the peg there between them, where number 8 or number 9. She brings strength down the middle there as well. Again, it just goes to show what this club do, that they're bringing new players through the whole time. It isn't just like a few good players came together, they'll win a couple of Irelands, that's it. They've been bringing players through every year. The team has been evolving, I suppose is the word I'm looking for, every year as well. But she's been a great addition to the attack there. And Paul, when you just look at the half forward line there, we expect will play. There could be positional switches: Olivia Divley, Aisling Madden, Lindsay Noon. That's the strong half forward line.
It's obviously other players that are keeping this Kilkerrin team so hungry, because there's so many players chomping at the bit to get into this starting 15. But there still is three crucial players in Louise and Nicola Ward and Olivia Divley. How crucial are they to Kilkerrin?
Oh, look, they're three of the best players we've ever seen play, whether it's for a club or for county, and they drive the standards as well. You can throw in Sarah Gormley, the fullback and joint captain, into that conversation there as well. And sure, look, you don't believe in anyone out. The Noons have done their bit, Eilish Marcy, Chloe Miskill as well, all the Dibleys. But of course, those three are the three names we've been talking about for the last 10 years, since Galway won a couple of All Ireland minor titles under Daniel Moynihan a decade ago. They're driving forces for the county. Any team they play in is a better team when they're in it. They're definitely the three players that the opposition will look at probably first before they look at anybody else. And no doubt, Paddy O'Donoghue and Kilmacud Rogues, that's what they'll be looking at, those three players there first. Like Olivia Divley, a long overdue All-Star she finally got as well. She should have got one a long time ago. Well deserved. This year, she gets involved in more of the work there as well. There's other people like Eva Noonan. This team is probably the highest score at the moment, but she's well able to hit over the pressure scores when she needs to. Louise Ward, the best compliment I can give Louise Ward, Paul, is when she came back into the Galway setup this year at the Connacht final against Mayo, and just straight away the tempo was up about 5 notches. She just tears into it. She leads by example, goes at the opposition, expects her teammates to do the same as well, and you feel a different energy about the team that she is in. And look, Nicola Ward, what can you say about Nicola Ward in 2024? I was joking with one friend there. Is there a game she hasn't been player of the match on this year as well? We've always known the way she has played. A strong centre back there as well, drives up the field, puts fear in the opposition, set up that goal for Aisling Madden in the semi-final against Clonberne. But it's like she's brought it to another level this year. I was so delighted when she was named the Players' Player of the Year. She's absolutely superb. And they're down the middle as well. Like I mentioned, you can't leave out Sarah Gormley when you have that conversation. Lisa Murphy, the goalkeeper as well. Even Eilish Morrissey at the centre of the attack, with the Noons flanking them there as well. There's just so much strength in this Kilkerrin Clonberne team. You'd struggle to find weaknesses, but they are the three players that dictate the terms. They're generational players, and they're going to be missed when they're gone. But thankfully, Paul, we won't be saying goodbye to them for quite some time, hopefully.
In saying that, the most team that probably asked the questions of Kilkerrin Clonberne over the last number of years is definitely Kilmacud Crokes. When you look back at that All Ireland semi final, there's never really a stage where it looked like we might have seen Kilkerrin, Clonberne dead and buried, but this this Kilmacud team are the team that have asked the most questions of Kilkerrin over the last few years.
Oh, look, Paul, at the end of the day, any club ladies football fans, since the club season came in after the All Ireland, what's the match you wanted to see? Kilkerrin Clonberne versus Kilmacud Crokes. There was lots of hurdles to be negotiated by both teams. They got through them one by one. We spoke about Kilkerrin Clonberne already. Kilmacud Crokes, looking at the results there as well, the margins they're putting up there. 5-12 against Castleknock, 3-9 against Thomas Davis. Ballyboden St. Enda's asked a few questions. They hammered Coolout, they hammered Clontarf. A 1 point victory in the Dublin final against St. Sylvester's. That was their scare this year, and they've scored 19 goals in their 4 matches since through Leinster, and of course their 5-11 to 1-5 win against Castle Island Desmonds from Kerry. Yeah, last year, they had Kilkerrin Clonberne in the back foot. They really forced the All Ireland champions to dig deep into their reserves to save that game to force extra time. And you know what? Kilmacud Crokes had won that day in Parnell Park. Nobody would have begrudged them it, but Kilkerrin Clonberne do what champions do. They found a way to get over the line. When you look at them, like, this is their first All Ireland final. They only won the Dublin Championship for the first time in 2022. We can talk about their inexperience as a club team, but then when you look at the players that they have, you realise that argument goes out the window. Look at the half back line that we expect will play. Aoife Kane, Molly Lamb, Kate Murray, all Dublin players. In front of them, Grace Coss, who had got the goal against Kilkerrin Clonberne last year, and Lauren McGee, one of the best players in the country, multi All Ireland titles with Dublin, has played in AFL as well. We have a Galway contention in it. The Galway captain, Alva Darren, plays at centre forward. Darren Vergower has finally submitted the goalkeeping position from Corofin. She is their goalkeeper as well. I haven't even mentioned Neve Cotter from Cork. 2-4 she got in the semi-final against Castle Island Desmonds. Neve Carr, the Donegal defender as well, tight, close marker. No doubt she'll be deployed to keep an eye on somebody in particular. And in saying all those names as well, I haven't even mentioned probably the most dangerous player this year, their highest scorer, Michelle Davern. 4-11 she has scored, I think, in only the last four or five games from full forward as well. Like, Sarah Gormley dealt with her last year, and we'll hope Sarah Gormley will deal with her again. But if she gets an opportunity to shine in this game in Croke Park, she's going to be a danger. So look, compare it to a heavyweight boxing match on a Saturday night, Paul. That's what you're getting here. You're getting the two best teams in the country. I think Willie Ward said in an interview during the week that no other team can say they had a tough draw or anything else. These were the two teams that we were expecting to get here, providing they got the jobs done. They both had a couple of scares, but they're here, and it's the showdown that it's going to be the big showdown and the biggest test for Kilkerrin Clonberne over their great run.
We can be fairly damn sure this weekend, there, and that this is going to be an unbelievable game.
Oh, there's a potential to be, I don't know, probably a risk of hyping it so much, it'll probably end up not being as good as we're hoping. But look, this is, when I think of all the games that involve Galway teams across various codes, and like there's some very, very appealing contests, and all of them are good in their own merit, this is the showdown. That this is an All Ireland final. This is Kilkerrin Clonberne looking to do what no Galway club team has done before, and win 4 All Irelands in succession. They're level with what the Corofin Men did 4 or 5 years ago. They look at the greater history, but when you're on top, somebody's always coming to try and knock you down. And in the last couple of years, like the likes of Foxrock Cabinteely, I think they lost the semi-final to Kilkerrin Clonberne. Donamoyne was Ballymacabry. We talked about Mourne Abbey already. But those previous years, well, maybe not the first year of Mourne Abbey, we probably were talking 50-50 because Kilkerrin Clonberne hadn't won the All Irelands. But we always felt to be enough against Donamoyne. We always felt to be enough against Ballymacabry. We still feel that Kilkerrin Clonberne are good enough to get this job done, but this is one that they are going up against a team that they know are going to be able to go with them for 60 plus minutes. I know they think it goes straight to a replay if it finishes level, but this will be a barnstormer. This will be, because Kilmacud Crokes are coming to play. As we said already, the experience that Kilkerrin Clonberne have as a unit will be very, very mild advantage, because so many of these Kilmacud Crokes players are used to playing in Croke Park, including our own Galway players that played in Croke Park only last August in an All Ireland final. They're going to throw everything at this. Kilmacud Crokes will feel this is their moment. Kilkerrin Clonberne wants to maintain their position at the top of the ladder. It's all set up nicely. The irresistible force meets the immovable object, whatever way you want to put it. This has the potential to be the game of the weekend. And I say that when talking about all games, not just games that are involving Galway teams.
You talk about the Galway connection, it's interesting there. Could we see Albert Davern be given the American role of tracking Nicola Ward?
Or vice versa as well, now, when you look at it
Yeah.
like that. But oh, look, wouldn't that be the matchup that everybody wants to see? And I'm sure two managers at home are probably like having to think about this. Look, I can't imagine Nicola Ward not playing at number 6. So going to your question is, will Albert Davern play number 11? Look, Galway captain against the player of the year, that would be a showdown in itself. It'll be interesting to see because, look, at the end of the day, Albert Davern is well capable of getting big scores with his Kilkerrin Crokes team there as well. But somebody has to be keeping a tab on Nicola Ward. Likewise, if you go the other side of it, can Albert Davern press forward, or some other player of that matter, to restrict Nicola Ward going forward? It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I think it'll be a 50-50 in regards who marks who if that matchup occurs. Looking at what's there, unless they decide to bring Mia Jennings inside or Ava Rutledge into a centre forward position, just mixing it up a little bit to free up Albert Davern to try and get scores. It'll be interesting to see. Certainly, Kilkerrin Crokes can't take their eye off Nicola Ward right now, or they're going to find themselves in serious trouble as well. But it'll be interesting to see. For Galway supporters, we'd love to see Nicola Ward against Albert Davern. Whether that happens, we'll have to wait and see.
It's interesting then because you could have Lauren McGee coming up against Louise Ward and then possibly Aoife Kane or Niamh Kerr given the task of going on individually.
Yeah, and again, there's so many matchups there as well. Because even we were talking about the Kilkerrin Clonberne players, and I don't know if we got through them all on that occasion, but there's so many strong players there. Likewise, there's going to be so many tasty matchups in this game because, as you just said there, like look at that half back line that we expect to line out in Aoife Kane, Molly Lamb, and Kate Murray, Olivia Dibley, Aisling Madden, Lindsay Noon, their potential 3 opponents. But Niamh Kerr could come forward. That being said, Niamh Kerr could stay back because Eva Noon, Ailish Morrissey, Chloe Miskill. You can't take your eyes off them as well. Emer Sweeney, the fullback for Kilkerrin Croke, she is their captain. Would she fancy a go with Ailish Morrissey? That's if Ailish plays a full forward. Ailish could go out to the corner as well. So Kilkerrin Clonberne have that bit of mobility as well. So I'm sure Willie Ward and Paddy O'Donoghue, there's a lot of head scratching going on in regards who should play well there. Who do you want playing in their best positions? Who do you want detailing somebody else as well? It'll be interesting to see what will happen. And we'll be trying to pick up on that very, very quickly at the start of the commentary. But again, it just goes to show that whatever 30 players go out in the field to play for this All-Ireland final, this is going to feel as close to inter-county as you're going to get.
Can Kilkerrin Clonberne do it, Darren?
Oh yeah, well, without a shadow of a doubt, I still have confidence in Kilkerrin Clonberne. I don't think they're ready to give up their position on top of the ladder just yet, but this is a 50-50 game. This is a team that are coming. This is a team that are hungry and have chosen their performances as well. As I was just there when I was mid-flow a few minutes ago, and I remember this game goes straight to a replay if it finishes level after 60 minutes. I would not be one bit surprised if you and me are coming back before the 11th of January to have this conversation again, because that's how close this could be. As we mentioned, it went to extra time last year in the semi-final. 2 points separated them in the end. Kilkerrin Clonberne, look, at the end of the day, the big players have to win the big battles. And that's the most important thing. They do have the experience. They have the player of the year in Nicola Ward. They have loads of options among their forwards as well. And if Kilkerrin Clonberne can get on top of this game early, if they're not chasing the contest, they know how to shut it down. They know how to make it very, very difficult for Kilkerrin Crokes. But in saying all that, a lot of these Kilkerrin Crokes players are used to doing that. We're wearing the sky blue and navy of Dublin as well. And they will feel that they let the game get away last year. Definitely the hardest game I found to call this weekend, but I would still be sticking with Kilkerrin Clonberne. They have the experience, they're the right age profile, but this is the biggest test they have faced since they finally won that first All-Ireland back in January 2022.
And just finally, Darren, if they are to achieve this 4 in a row, does that put them towards the top of the pile? Or where do you think this ranks if Kilkerrin Clonberne are to win their 4th All-Ireland title in a row on Saturday evening?
Well, look, in regards to Galway achievements, sure, it's up there with any that's been done, because, um, uh, like, when you look at the different codes there club-wise, first, obviously, we mentioned Corofin already in their 3 in a row of men's football titles. The great Pearce's team dominated Camogie between 97 and 2002. And while no club has done that in hurling as such, Portumna still did pick up 4 All-Irelands. Athenry picked up 3 during their pomp. But to win 4 All-Irelands in a row in any competition is a massive achievement. And again, it goes down to reward for their work ethic, their attitude, and the way they push each other the whole time, and the way they invest in their club as well. These players are not just great players, because what we see on the 60 minutes in the field, they give back to their club. And we've seen these young players coming through. Like, we've talked about the starting team. Let's not forget Leah Petit there. Started 2 games when Sarah Gormley was injured during the campaign. Avine Madden, Caitlin Boyle, Anya Shaughnessy, Nee Feeney, players that will get an opportunity to see some game time as well. In the overall ladies football team, look, it's harder to do these things now, so they definitely deserve to be in that conversation regarding the question you asked me earlier about greatest club ladies football teams. But I still, I'm a nerd for stats, and I still respect the history book. And the history book says Ballymacapry won 7 All-Irelands in a row, but they deserve to be in that conversation because they've raised the standard. They're forcing, like, if Kilkerrin Clonberne don't win on Saturday, this won't be down to them slipping. This won't be down to them not having the edge anymore. This will be down to them forcing Kilmacud Crokes to come and meet them at their level. And even if they don't play at 100% of what they can play at, they're still going to force Kilmacud Crokes to come to them. Kilmacud nearly got there last year, but Kilkerrin Clonberne still showed they had it when they needed it, and they still have it there. So yeah, look, it'll be one of those great achievements. They are going to go down as one of Galway's greatest clubs across all Gaelic Games codes, and they're going to be talked about many, many years to come when they do finish their journey, which I don't think is going to finish anytime soon. But it's a big hurdle to pass on Saturday.
For sure. And we do wish best of luck to Kilkerrin Clonberne and Annaghdown at the weekend. A terrific occasion for both clubs, and the best of luck to the management teams and players and all involved in Croke Park on Saturday. And Darren Kelly, thanks a million for coming on to this week's podcast.
Paul, pleasure was mine. Thanks a million for asking me.